Hey guys, so I have this 1705 completely apart. I removed everything except for some of those brass tubes. I am still debating if I'm going to do that. But anyway, before I get ahead of myself here, this is what is this, a 704, and it is very similar to, as far as this part is concerned, it is identical to the 1705. And this is the adjustment screw for this little lever here that actuates the secondary butterflies for the air horn. This is done by vacuum. So I wanted to show you this particular area because, and let me try to put it upside down, see if I can show you this other part that has a spring connected to this pin, and that of course is at the same time connected to the shaft and the butterflies. So what I wanted to show you here is how to remove and install that shaft that has a spring and an adjustment screw right there. It is a little confusing and complicated, I think, but I'm going to do my best to explain this, and I'm going to do it kind of in reverse. I'm going to show you how to install this. I'm going to have to leave a few things out, like for example the cam for the secondary metering rods. This is going to be basically a tutorial on how I install this shaft. Again, in this area here you would have the cam. I'm gonna ignore that for now. This is an area that is a little bit confusing, I think, at least it was for me. And the reason I wanted to go over it in detail is in case you're trying to restore, refinish, replate the carburetor, including of course the air horn. So this shaft here, you would have to, as you can see, I ground the screws for those flaps, and I removed it. Now when you're reinstalling this, again you will have the cam, and you're going to be pushing this inward here. Now this, the purpose of the spring and the adjustment screw, which I have here, I call it the adjustment screw. It acts like a screw because you're going to have to turn it in either direction to add tension or release tension from the spring, but there are no threads. This is just a pin, and it can go in, as far as I can tell, either way. I mean, it's the same thing no matter how you look at it. It's got two slotted ends, and one of the ends is used for the adjustment, the other one is for the spring. And as you can see, the spring here has this loop which connects to the rod, but on the inside there's this tail piece here that is where the slotted end goes. Therefore, whenever you turn it, this one compresses and you're adding tension to the spring. And this will become a little more clear, I hope, as I put this back together. So Again, I'm doing this kind of backwards because I'm doing the installation first, then I'll show you how I remove it. Now, when you're done with the refinishing, repainting, replating, whatever it is, you want to put this back together. Again, you would have your plastic cam piece there already in place. This spring has that little loop, and that connects here on that pin. And then carefully just drop it in place. Now, the adjustment pin, I don't know what they're called, but that's what I call it, fits in this hole here. And the way this works, I already showed you that tail end. What you want to do is push this gently, allowing the spring to kind of be in position there. And then you want to continue pushing this adjustment pin in. You do not want to add or use a lot of pressure, and rotate it until it aligns. That slot at the other end of the pin aligns with that tail end of the spring, and it goes into the housing here. Then everything is in place as it should be for this shaft to operate correctly. Now, mind you, nothing will happen until you add tension. Right now this is totally loose in there, but it is in place. Now carefully you want to rotate the lever here a little bit so you gain access to the adjustment screw. And as you can see, the moment I start turning here, because it is connected to the spring, it starts reacting, and that's how it adds tension to it. So you turn it, and then this shaft becomes spring loaded. The more tension you add, the faster and harder it will snap back. Now, the final adjustment has to be with the carburetor completely reassembled. And if I let go, well, you lose all the tension. And that's why you need also this Allen screw that goes in here. So with the Allen wrench, you can just tighten this very gently until it starts making contact with the adjustment screw, so it will act as a lock screw. And immediately, once you add a little bit of tension from this set screw, you can feel it, and the adjustment screw will kind of stay in place up to a certain point. Then you will add a little more tension to this, and that way, and again, this would be done with a carburetor assembled, and then you want to tighten this one fully. What that does, it allows this to operate properly. And again, this is not a tutorial on how to adjust the flaps or butterflies. This is just, I'm concentrating on how to install, remove and install this shaft. So now if you were taking this apart after you remove the butterflies, again, you would want to go in here and loosen this set screw and basically remove it. So with that one out, again, there's no tension from the spring. And the next step is to get that adjustment screw out of there. Again, you don't want to unscrew it. There's nothing to unscrew from there. You have to be very careful. And what I would use is something like a magnet or something along those lines. You can use a small magnet. And you fish it out of there. When that is out, all you have to do is carefully just flip this thing upside down, give it a few shakes, and there you have the spring. It's a good idea, by the way. You see here I'm using a towel. It is a good idea to use something like this because anything you drop pretty much stays there. So instead of hitting a hard surface where it can roll away and be lost forever. So anyway, after you remove those items, then this shaft is basically free to come out. There is a channel here for this long pin, and you carefully take it out of there, and that is that. And at that point, you can really clean the air horn and remove any other nozzles here and the brass little nozzles, the secondary discharge nozzles, which are there, and then you can give it a good bath and prep it for, again, if you want to polish it, which would be really, really hard because there's too many nooks and crannies in here. But whatever finish you want to give it, this is the way to do it properly. You do not, I think, want to really, especially like do some plating or something like that with this spring and adjustment screw in there. So, or in here rather. So anyway, I know this is confusing, but if you've been tinkering with your carburetor and you have it apart to this degree, then I think it's pretty safe to say that you would want to take this out and then, of course, reinstall everything the right way so it operates properly. Otherwise, this is not going to work as intended by the Chevy engineers. So, if you have any comments, please write them below. And I hope this has been somewhat helpful to you as you try to restore your carburetor as much as possible. And then you can have a Quadrajet that looks like this. I don't know the durability of the paint that I use, but really I am using this one as a display piece because I love how these things look. And with all the butterflies out of here, you can really polish them. And again, do all your adjustments as needed. And you will have a carburetor that works just as good as fuel injection. I'm serious. If you do it right, you replace whatever parts are, like in this case, this brake here was not working properly, so I bought a new one. And that's what I'm gonna have to do for this one. This one is shot. No big deal. You can still find those parts, and I'll provide a link below. And really detail as much as possible. It is worth the effort, I think. It looks so much better. And a lot of these pieces are ruined, so you can always find new ones and use those instead. The ones that are okay, you can clean them up. This one I think I'm gonna reuse. And same deal for this one here. And in some cases, like for this carburetor, it's missing the secondary lockout. I don't know why, but I'm gonna look for one and get that piece taken care of. Otherwise, the carburetor is not going to work properly. So anyway, thanks again for watching. And if you have any comments, again, please leave them below. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.